Hi everyone, it's me, Krillius, Team Racing Productions MC and producer, and joining me today is Bobby Strand from GLAA. Thank you so much for
It's my
joining
pleasure to
me.
be here.
Thank you. It is definitely my pleasure. And for our audience, go ahead, give them a little bit about your background and your work with the GLAA, and give them also some background on the GLAA.
All right, GLAA is the longest running activist group in DC. It came into existence, I think, 1971, and has participated in all the major changes in the district, from the repeal of the sodomy law to gay marriage to expansion of the Human Rights Act. They were also part of the coalition that created the Office of Police Complaints. I started getting involved with GLAA in 2016, I think. Might have been 2015. I
Yeah.
knew members of GLAA before that. Then I became an officer for GLAA in 2017. And
Mm-hmm.
when Guillaume, who was our president at the time, moved to Rhode Island, I became president in the middle of 2018.
Ah, I see, I see. Wonderful. And you guys do so much in the district. Could you go ahead and let us know, some of the last major things that you guys were a part of within like the last few years?
Right? Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep it more recent because I didn't study everything we have done. But
Okay.
most recently, we've been heavily involved in the election, the budget coalition for the LGBTQ community,
Yeah.
um, which has been a unique challenge. Because last year, when community advocates testified before council, and we went to visit council and let them know what the needs of the community were budget-wise, we
Yeah.
completely ignored.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of work went into getting asked into the budget for the 2021 budget fiscal year.
Yeah.
Then, right as everything was getting finalized, that's when the pandemic hit.
So tell me about that. Tell me about that. The pandemic hits, and at that point, things get stalled. How have what have things been like? How have you guys adapted? What are the challenges that you guys have been facing since the pandemic?
Um, well, most immediately is we had to indefinitely postpone our anniversary reception. Um, all the advocacy has gone to Zoom meetings, phone calls, and emails. Our meetings are now virtual.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's also caused the LGBTQ community budget coalition to revisit priorities because there was a lot less money to go around.
Oh wow.
So, and that coalition has been largely led by Sultan Shakir from Smile,
Ah,
even though
okay,
we
yes.
played an active role in that um, with our co- coalition liaison, Tyrone Hanley,
Mm-hmm.
who has just been fantastic in the things that he's able to accomplish and the way he represents GLAA.
Yes.
Um, we did get a few things. The coalition got some of their items into the budget.
Yeah.
Um, Most importantly, we were able to secure additional funding for OHR.
Mm-hmm.
From the perspective of GLAA, that was probably the most critical ask we had
Of
because
course.
the Human Rights Act is wonderful. It's
Yeah.
one of the best in the nation. But if it's not properly enforced, it's like not having it.
Yeah. That's true. That is definitely true.
And there are currently, and I sincerely hope this changes, as a result of the expanded staff and financial resources that OHR will have in the coming fiscal year. There are currently cases open from 2015 in OHR.
That are still, wow, my goodness, that's 5 years.
Yeah, and if you have that kind of backlog, OHR is not doing what they can do.
True.
It's not being properly utilized.
Mm-hmm.
It sends a message to people who would violate the Human Rights Act that it doesn't matter because they're never going to have consequences.
Yeah, of course.
And we were extremely pleased and grateful that council decided to fully fund OHR and fund additional staffing resources for OHR so we can have timely enforcement of the Human Rights Act. Another item that got into the budget that we're pretty happy about is a study is being funded through DCHR.
Yeah.
To determine how many trans people are employed by the district, where and what kinds of positions
they're in.
Anecdotally, we think there's less than 10 out of a workforce of like 30,000. But we don't know for sure.
So having some of that data and information would be very important to have, definitely.
Well, it's not just having the data, it's doing something about the data.
Of course.
Based on most recent data, DC, numbers-wise and percent of population, has one of the largest populations of transgender individuals in the nation. Even greater percentage of our population is from the transgender community here in DC than San Francisco. We make up about 2.33% of the district. So let's say if DC government is representative, there's over 16,000 trans people in the district. So if we just like looking at the rough math here, and they should be employing hundreds of trans people if they're an inclusive workplace. And they are the largest employer in the district. So in addition to identifying who they've got, you know, how many from our community they're employing, this study is also supposed to look at the culture, the hiring practice, and promotion practices in regards to trans individuals, and to make recommendations for changes in policies and practices, and if need be legislation or regulations to increase representation of trans people in the district. And with those recommendations, implement them.
Yes.
Because I, for one, have had enough of studies being used as a way to put off doing something. So this particular study is designed to create change.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, well, the work that the GLAA is doing right now is just so important. I'm glad to see what you guys are up to, and hopefully these changes really, really do come true. Like, I mean, honestly, it's great, and you guys are a volunteer organization. I'm correct, right?
That is correct. We are all volunteer.
Yes.
We don't even have an office.
So
I'm sitting in the closest thing to an office we have, which is my office in my house.
Oh, wow. Well, you see, speaking of the fact that you guys are a volunteer organization, could you let our audience know if how they could go about if they wanted to become volunteers, if they wanted to donate, if they, you know, anything that can be done to help? So plug whatever it is. Oh,
well, if they want to get involved, we do have a Facebook group where we set up events to announce our meetings. They are typically the fourth Tuesday of every month, but we do ask that someone send us a Facebook direct message to get the Zoom call info. because we are trying to prevent our meetings from getting Zoom bombed.
Yes.
So, because I've had to go to the point for when I hold Zoom meetings to activate the waiting room.
Yes.
And also, they can message us there or send us email if they are looking to donate, which we are always happy to accept donations. It pays for things like our anniversary reception. It pays for postage. It pays for anything we need in terms of fees for filing.
Yes.
Because we do have to register as a nonprofit. Donations to us are not tax deductible because we are a political organization. Just want to make sure that's clear to everyone. So no one donates to us expecting a tax deduction. So we really, really appreciate the support when we get it.
Of course.
I'm hopeful this fall, at some point, we'll be able to safely have our anniversary reception. And even if you don't want to come, if you want to support us, buy a ticket, give it to someone else.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
We'll be having it at Lost Society one day, I hope.
Of course, hopefully. Well, and I'm hoping, things change soon. Things change eventually, what we're going through right now. So hopefully, and we'll finally see each other on the other side of this. Thanks so much for joining me today, Bobby.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. Such a pleasure. And to our viewers, thank you for watching.